Hello, I'm the art director for World of Tanks, and today we'll tell you how we made the new sound. Over the last few years, we traveled to a lot of different places where we recorded reference materials in a video. We started recording sounds to see how things worked, and we came up with the idea to significantly improve the sound in World of Tanks, because the materials we recorded were much better than the sounds we had in the game at the time.
So, for example, if you watch the YouTube videos about World of Tanks released in 2011, you can see that the visual component has greatly changed since then. But in 2015, we still had the same sound that we had in 2011. There was nothing drastically new. So, we needed a revolutionary leap forward rather than an evolutionary one.
One of the best solutions to all those problems was a complete change for the sound engine. It seemed very daring, but numerous issues told us it was time.
We needed that technological platform to lay out every recording that we had accumulated over the years, from when we visited the firing ranges and recorded tank gunshots and tank engine sounds. So we needed to prioritize all that in order not to pile it up, but to implement it correctly.
We looked at what there was on the market and chose the Y sound engine, because it's the best so far. After our first attempts of implementing something using it, it became clear that our choice and all the expenses that would follow were justified.
This is a crazy tool with crazy capabilities. We wanted to put a lot in there.
We had a great risk of burying ourselves in its capabilities in an attempt to use everything it had to offer. We could just bury ourselves and lose a lot of time just because of our enthusiasm. So we began planning and designing some architecture.
Well, a few words about its history, about how it was done and how long it took. We started working on Wise in September 2014. So, work had been going on for more than a year.
We took our main subsystems and worked on them first of all. The subsystem for shooting sounds in general, not only of the player's vehicle shots, but of all other players as well, is one of the main systems. The second most important subsystem is hit sounds, because it helps you understand how badly you're damaged. That's it. The last things we worked on were the least important subsystems, like fence destruction, trees creaking, and bird song, which are the least significant for the players and simply shouldn't annoy them.
Many may think that the tank engine sound is a very important subsystem. But in reality, it's not so important for the game. I mean, it is important, but not key. When we play, we should hear what happens after we press the button. For example, we should hear a shell fly after we fired. We should hear that shell hit the target. We should hear the vehicle explosion. So these are the main informative components that require close attention.
It wasn't easy. We, of course, listened to each subsystem separately while we were working on them, and they sounded good. But when we compiled everything in a working build, launched the servers, and started playing it, we realized that not only had we gone too far with the sound event prioritization system and under-polished it, but in general, the sounds that sounded good separately could sound very superfluous altogether.
There were many improvements over the course of work. We also adjusted things for our players. I mean, we received their feedback, processed it, gathered together, brainstormed ideas, and thought about what we could do. We added some additional requirements and reworked what we had already done. So our set of tasks, our scope of work in general, it wasn't static. It kept expanding, but we customized the sound according to the player's requirements.
When we were preparing Update 9.14, we were ready, let's say, to relax before the release. We thought we would pass that milestone and rest a bit.
We held internal playtests, fixed issues, then held a super test, fixed issues, then held a common test. We fixed what we could, but there were mainly performance issues. And then we released the update.
With the release of 9.14, we saw that player opinions were divided in a strange way. They were split. So they either liked it a lot or didn't like it at all.
Yes, we started receiving feedback after the release, and our team was very concerned about each comment, about the sounds of cooking pots, drivers' teeth, and for all the spoons and forks that rattled inside the tank. They processed all the comments very attentively, and then we would sit down and ruthlessly analyze the statistics, how many players left their feedback, and how polar the opinions were.
We even took a little breather. We didn't start changing things drastically based on player feedback. We did the things that we understood and agreed on. As for other issues, we waited 2 weeks, and only then started developing our plans for what we were going to improve by looking at the requirements of our community.
So we had a great number of tasks piled up for the next update, and we needed to solve them. We needed to understand the comments from different people who had different thoughts and perceptions of the sound. They explained it in their own words. So we needed to find a way to process them to understand whether we understood people correctly, and then do the right things to change something.
Update 9.14 was a big step, and we knew it was a significant milestone. We knew that if we released the sound, of course we were going to release it, we would then just improve it to implement things the players wanted in addition to what we had already done. And this is exactly how it went. Update 9.14 renewed the main subsystems, and we're currently improving them, and we react to what players don't like. We make targeted improvements. If they don't like the sounds for shots, we remake them. We monitor what we can do, for example, to expand the content or caliber gradation. If they don't like how the engines sound, we work on engines, but the main scope of work was done in 9.14.
We released the new sound, and to some extent, it's like a tank in stock configuration that we purchase in the garage. Then we start upgrading it, and so on. And that means we've got improvements for our sound. There's content, and there are many interesting things, including the informative component. I mean, we're going to improve the informative game systems.
Our transition to the new engine couldn't be a small step. One way or another, it would have to be a drastic step forward. It's not final, of course. It means that we will continue to polish sound and add new content, and so on and so forth.
We already have big ideas and features that we plan to implement in the future, but right after the release of Update 9.14, we were focused on improvements.
We have a clear understanding of what we need to fix. And I think we will make some big changes before the end of the year. The work on the sound will continue after the release of Update 9.15. Sound is a very subjective thing, and only your feedback, especially your detailed comments, can help us make it how you want it. Participate in tests and share your feedback. See you.